Hi everyone, I'm the Gnome, and today I'd like to talk to you about the film I've just seen, which was absolutely awful, probably the worst film I've ever seen, which is Resident Evil Retribution. This was released in 2012, is a big budget Hollywood film, written and directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, starring his wife Mila Jovovich. And it's baffling from really start to finish. It plumbs new depths of stupidity, confusion, basically making it all irrelevant. It seems like a greatest hits of all the Resident Evil movies. So, first of all, the movie starts with a slow motion reverse shot, kind of continue on directly from the previous film. So Alice is on the massive boat, they get attacked by ships, and it kind of shows you in reverse action, kind of leading up to that. What it then does is it shows you that action in forward time, thus making the entire reverse kind of shot absolutely irrelevant. And really, that's the first of the many baffling decisions in this movie. What we also then get is, I would say, a good 5 to 7 minute review of the previous Resident Evil movies. So they touch upon plot points, arcs, and it's literally Mila Jovovich talking directly to you, the audience. It's kind of, oh, look, we're on the sixth film, I best catch you up on what's happened before. Very little of this is actually relevant to anything. It feels like it was put in there just to pad out the time, because it is a very, very short film. Not a lot happens in it. Although what does happen in it really just makes no sense whatsoever. We then get the actual opening of the film, where Mila Jovovich's character Alice is in a normal suburbia with a husband and a child, and then gets attacked by zombies. This would be more impressive had it not been the opening to the Dawn of the Dead remake, and it's terrifyingly nearly shot for shot. It looks like it was done on the same set. It has the same feel, the direction style. It really does just seem like a cheap knockoff a good 5, 6 years after the Dawn of the Dead remake. We then realise, or are told, that it was all just a dream, and that Alice is stuck in a weird chamber getting tortured by the power of sound. She's then broken out by her former enemy Wesker, who turns into kind of tentacly face in the previous one, although he's alive now. That's not really explained in any way, shape or form. It's kind of skipped over like a lot of characters' deaths and returns. The big reveal, we would say, the big thing, is that the Umbrella Corporation want money. Fair enough, it's a corporation, and corporations like money. The Umbrella Corporation, to make money, are selling bioweapons. Great, that makes sense. That's probably a big market in that kind of future dystopian sci-fi kind of way. The way they do it is they've built, under the sea, a giant test facility. In this test facility, there is replicas of Tokyo, New York, and a couple of the suburbia one, and then Russia itself, and Moscow. Giant 4 city block wide domes where everything's exactly as it should look. Built under the sea so they can test it. How much money did you have to put in to build giant biodomes under the sea, which are all scale replica, perfect versions of the real places themselves, that you need to make more money? Here's an idea: when you're looking through your account, don't do that. Start small. It seems though they're just kind of, you know what, we'll do this, we'll build to make it even bigger. It's a sixth one, it's got to be the biggest and the flashiest, without actually thinking any of it through. But it's a Resident Evil film. We kind of have to say, alright, fair enough. They've got this huge underwater test facility where people can kind of run and go. What they also have is clones, hundreds and thousands of clones. So when they're testing the facility, which they say takes normally about an hour, they drop in a bio weapon, like the T-Virus or one of the bigger monsters, and then kind of track how people react, which kind of makes sense. That's not the worst plot point ever, but why it's underwater, I really don't know. What we then get is Alice running through each biodome, trying to fight her way out. Next to her is the character Ada Wong, who is there to just basically give plot exposition. She is there just to explain what is literally just to explain as well. This is it. And in the next also, she's an awful actress. She gives it the most wooden, stilted delivery you've ever seen. It's like, yes, we need to get out. We are under the sea in a giant biodome, and like pretty worse than that, to be honest. And that's pretty bad. It is just absolutely god awful, and just really just make you question how this film even was released. The Resident Evil films shouldn't be a difficult make. Fair enough, spin-off. Go away from the video games. There haven't been a very good video game for about 3 or 4 versions now. But there must be a better way than this kind of overblown, pseudo kind of epic sci-fi that they're trying to do. At the same time as Alice trying to get out, there's some 4 or 5 guys trying to come in simply so they can have an action scene in Russia, whereas Alice is having an action scene in New York. They meet, there is just awful character interaction. It was just like, just 2 lumps of wood just hit each other in the sea. It was just like, hello, we need to get out. Yes, we need to get out here. Like, there was just no effort put into the character. There's really no effort put into anything, and I think that's probably where I'm a big concern why it's such an awful film. It just seems like, oh yeah, it seems like a 1 draft script. Yeah, that'll do. Boom, done in a weekend. Let's get it out. It was nobody on the film looks like they give a crap, and they were all right, done. So done. That's it. That'll do. People will go and see it. It'll be fine. I saw it on Sky, so didn't pay for it directly. I'd like to put no money towards Paul W.S. Anderson. He's keep making these awful, awful, awful films. The film's also got some 3D elements, so you get to go, ooh, as a knife spins towards the camera. This isn't in 3D, so that's probably not going to make any much sense. Yeah, it's just an awful... And then at the end, the big reveal is that mankind's entire survival is they build a military camp on the White House, and they're standing on the roof of the White House. And then it turns into, it pans back and turns into a scene what looks like Helm's Deep. So they've got massive walls, and there's dragons, and there's fire. I don't know why there's dragon. I don't know why there's dragons. I'm sorry. There's like there's flying dragons and loads of zombies, and you're just kind of like, right. Is that it? Yeah. CGI's not terrible. It's acceptable. I think it hasn't really went on any further from the first Resident Evil film, which was like 2000 or something, maybe even before then. The Red Queen, the little child hologram, returns, and this is actually one of the big problems. So she's tracking the guys around, and then there's a visual screen, not like one of the hearing screens, visual screen of the Red Queen talking directly to the audience, going, and then also text underneath, like it's some kind of karaoke contest. Unleash biohazard in sector, blah 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 blah. That, like, again, it just seems like filler. Like, oh fuck, we've made this film. It's only 60 minutes long. It needs to be 90 or I think it's 80 or something. This film is. Let's just pad. Lots of padding. So you would get that scene maybe 4 or 5 times. It goes, oh, unleash this. Unleash the laser grid. Unleash blah 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 blah. And it's just like, really, like, why? And I would say this is a horrible, horrible film. It's a horrible film because money was put into it. Yes, there's probably going to be a lot of no-budget films that are terrible, like The Room, for example, is an objectively awful film. But used an amateur. This is professional actors, professional director, big budget behind it, and it's just like no redeeming values. Maybe Ada Wong's right leg that makes a regular appearance. is alright, but there's just no redeeming values. And the script, it blows my mind. It just blows my mind how just idiotic it is. We spend £7 billion or trillion pounds a year upkeeping this facility, but we need to make money. Money, yes, money. We've got an entire clone army. We can't monetize that, but we're just gonna use them to die over and over and over again in increasingly irrelevant circumstances. The giant liquor monster from the first one, I think it is, maybe some of the other ones, they all kind of mesh together, comes back in this one. There's a giant dude with an oversized axe that comes back. And it's just genuine awful. It's probably worth seeing just for simply how bad it is. Have a few beers, get a few people around. You will laugh your way through this film. In really every kind of tense moment, you will probably be laughing. It's a baffling film. So my recommendation, and you should watch it, be sure how baffling it is. If you have watched it, let me know. Did you enjoy it? If you have enjoyed it, I apologise for slagging your favourite movie off for the last 9 minutes or so, but it's an objectively terrible movie. And it concerns me that people still keep me on these. Is it just because it's based on the Resident Evil name? Yes, probably. Could they just release a 90-minute one-on-one fight scene and everyone be happy with that? Yes. The other thing is, which I nearly forgot, is like the fight scenes are so choreographed. It's like watching like ballet, or it's like watching Cirque du Soleil or something. Like there's characters doing like triple flips and stuff. If you want a good fight scene, you need to watch the fight scene from They Live, which is just like a horrible, kind of just brutal, just, we're just going to stand each other and just punch at each other until one of us falls over. That's a good fight scene. So let me know your opinion on Resident Evil Retribution or any of the other Resident Evil movies. If you can differentiate between any of them, well done. I'd like to know how you remember that. That would be quite impressive. So this is my review of an awful film, Resident Evil. Cheers. Enjoy.